for a brand new episode of Africa Oye Nyumbani, our monthly video series featuring concerts, interviews, DJ sets and much more from stars across Africa and the diaspora. This month we'll have an exclusive concert with the British reggae legend Carroll Thompson, who performed on our Sefton Park stage way back in 2009. The Queen of Lovers Rock burst into the music scene in 1980 with her million-selling debut album, Hopelessly in Love, and has since worked with the likes of Stevie Wonder, Natalie Cole, Lee Scratch Perry, and Shaka Khan. Sticking with the reggae flavour of this month's episode, we've also got the fascinating sit-down interview with somebody who many of you do know, Stephen Nze, who is our Africa Oye Festival MC. He'll be talking in depth about the history of the reggae scene in Liverpool in this exclusive chat. Representing the Northwest this month will be T, who has risen to become a standout artist in the city's burgeoning neo-soul scene. Check out his signature emotionally driven pop and R&B later in the show. We'll also be cooking up a storm with festival regular Craig Falola from Eat Up Gud. And finally, to close out the show, we'll have the brilliant Dub Defenders providing us with an exclusive DJ set. As always, we're delighted to be able to bring you this series free of charge, but if you're able to donate any amount at all to help keep this festival and the content, of course, of Africa Oye free for years and for years to come, please do so via the donate button over at africaoye.com.
Patrick Bemba, merci pour Dubaï.
Mama pane, mama upotiki mayokeo. Yoposani bole pasi na mona, oyokota na mikili. Lelo desibyo sala zela yomoko, utika bana bayo. Isengwa mokili ekosila kate, yokela bana bayata mao. Mama pane, mama upotiki mayokeo.
You can also check out our brand new online store with Africa Oye tees, vests, face masks and more. You can even challenge your friends and family to a game of Liverpool Monopoly, featuring Oye and a host of other famous Liverpool institutions. Check out the whole range of merch at africaoye.com. Thank you for tuning in and we hope you enjoy the show.
Just one look into your eyes and something melts deep down inside. Well, I tried so hard not to show it, but you knew it all the time.
Okay, people, this is Lovers Rock.
Woo! This is Carroll Thompson, Queen of Lovers Rock. We're gonna have some fun today. Oye Festival.
This is Lovers Rock.
Just one look into your eyes. Something melts deep down inside. Well, I tried so hard not to show it, but you knew it all the time that I'm simply in love with you, and there's nothing I can do. 'Cause baby, I'm hooked on you. Yes, hooked on you. Whoa. Listen, just to know that you love and care, 'cause I you can't always be here. But just as long as I am sure you're mine, I'll always be yours. 'Cause I'm simply in love with you. And there's nothing I can do. 'Cause baby, I'm hooked on you. Yes, hooked on you. Whoa. Well, I expect to see you all dancing and singing along. Sorry I can't be with you, but we can share this. Listen, just to know that you love and care. 'Cause I know you can't always be here. But just as long as I am sure you're mine, I'll always be yours. Sing it. 'Cause I'm simply in love with you. And there's nothing I can do. 'Cause baby, I'm hooked on you. Yes, hooked on you. 'Cause I'm simply in love. I'm in love with you. And there's nothing I can do. 'Cause baby, I'm hooked on you. Yes, hooked on you. 'Cause I'm simply in love. I'm in love with you. And there's nothing I can do. 'Cause baby, I'm hooked on you. Yes, hooked on you. One more time. 'Cause I'm hooked on you. Every day I'm hooked on you. Every way I'm hooked on you. I'm hooked on you. All right, any Phyllis Dillon fans in the house? As Phyllis Dillon sang this song. If you knew how much I love you, how much I care for you, you wouldn't stay away. If you knew you were my one desire, you set my soul on fire, you wouldn't stay away. So darling, I know that you have found somebody new. She loves you, this I know. They say she's more beautiful than I. But if you knew you were my one desire, you set my soul on fire, you wouldn't stay away. All right, I want to see you moving your feet. Dance with me. Good rock steady. So darling, I wanna know, you tremble when you kiss. I've never known so you set my soul on fire, you wouldn't stay away. You wouldn't stay away. You wouldn't stay away. You wouldn't stay away. All right, so I'm taking you back to those good old Lovers Rock days. Good old hopelessly in love days. Yesterday, I was hard as stone. Yesterday, I had a home. Yesterday, I did not question why. But today, I just sit down and cry. Tomorrow, I look life in the eye. Tomorrow, I will sit here and cry. Tomorrow, I'll be brave and strong. But today, my whole life seems wrong. And do you wanna know why? He's gone. Do you wanna know why? My man is gone. Do you wanna know why? He's gone, leaving me in misery. Well, yesterday I laughed at my sorrows. Yesterday I look forward to tomorrow. 'Cause yesterday you were here by my side. But today is the saddest day of my life. Do you wanna know why? He's gone. Do you wanna know why? My man is gone. Do you wanna know why? He's gone, leaving me in misery. So welcome to the Oyi Festival. I'm Carroll Thompson, and we're going to be singing some Lovers Rock, a little bit of reggae music too. Yesterday, I laughed at my sorrows. Yesterday, I look forward to tomorrow. Yesterday, you were here by my side, but today is the saddest day of my life. Do you wanna know why? He's gone. Do you wanna know why? My man is gone. Do you wanna know why? He's gone, leaving me in misery. And do you wanna know why? He's gone. Do you wanna know why? Thank you. Now this next song is called Feel the Magic. It's a brand new single, so check it out. I can still feel the magic every time you kiss my lips. 'Cause even after so long, it's still strong. Every time you kiss my lips, I still feel the magic. I want you to know I still love you so. It gets deeper every day. 'Cause in times like these, in such uncertainty, my love remains the same. 'Cause I can still feel the magic every It gets deeper and deeper each day. 'Cause I can still feel the magic every time you kiss my lips. Even after so long, it's still strong every time you kiss my lips. I still feel the magic. Hoping you still feel the magic, people. It's my brand new single, Feel the Magic. Remember last summer, all our hopes tipped over. We thought that we wouldn't last, no, we wouldn't last. But then the sun appeared, and all our clouds, they disappeared. Now we're stronger, stronger than before. I can still feel the magic every time you kiss my lips. Even after so long, it's still strong every time you kiss my lips. I still feel the magic. I can still feel the magic every time you kiss my lips. Even after so long, it's still strong every time you kiss my lips. I still feel the magic. I still feel the magic. Oh baby, baby, baby. I still feel the magic. I still feel the magic. I feel the magic. I still feel the magic. Oh baby, baby, baby. Can you feel the magic? I hope so. So you ready? Real lovers rock. I'm taking you right back to those days when you used to rub off wallpaper. Do you remember those days? Yeah, lovers rock days. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you blue. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, 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 no. Listen, I really loved you. I really loved you with a love any man would be proud of. But I knew this would happen someday. I really tried my best to stay. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you blue. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. Oh no, no, no. Whoa, no, no, no. Oh no, 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 no. Say, stand up, stop, stand up. 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 Good old days. It was just you didn't understand me, so you weren't sure how to love me. It's not your fault, it's all mine. I guess I was a little mixed up inside. Now I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you blue. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. I didn't mean to make you cry. No, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. 'Cause I'm so sorry. 'Cause I'm so sorry. All right, this next song is called Still I Rise, taken from my Feel So Good album, Still I Rise. Still I rise, even though the tears are in my eyes, even though you try to hurt my pride. Still I rise, still I rise, even though you try to hurt my pride. Pick me up with your dirty lies. Still I rise. God gave me a gift and I used it. I never struggled and I never abused it. I worked hard every day to perfect my purpose in every way. Well, you don't know the fires I've survived. You don't know the mountains I've climbed. When life was a bitter pill. Still I rise, even though the tears are in my eyes, even though you try to hurt my pride. Still I rise, still I rise, even though you try to hurt my pride. Fill me up with all your dirty lies. Still I rise. All you users and you abusers, all you users and you abusers, what is mine is mine. You can't hurt me 'cause you let my light shine. 'Cause you don't know the fires I survived. You don't know the mountains I climbed. When life was a bitter pill. Still I rise, even though the tears are in my eyes, even though you try to hurt my pride. Still I rise, still I rise, even though you try to hurt my pride. Trip me up with your dirty lies. Still I rise. All right, people, let me see you moving. I want to hear you say, still I rise, still I rise, still I rise. Still I rise, still I rise, still I rise. Listen, God gave me a gift and I used it. I never squandered and I never abused it. I worked hard every day to perfect my purpose in every way. 'Cause you don't know the mountains I've climbed. You don't know the fires I've survived. When midnight hours, when I couldn't sleep and my spirit was weak. But still I rise, even though the tears are in my eyes, even though you try to hurt my pride. Still I rise, still I rise, even though you try to hurt my pride. Trip me up with your dirty lies. Still I rise. Oh, yeah. Still I rise, still I rise. Still I rise. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to sing for you. And I want to leave you with this love song called Hopelessly in Love that is 40 years old. Can you believe it? Taken from my Hopelessly in Love album. I'd like to thank you for supporting this festival and supporting lovers rock and British music. Thank you. There's something like this. 'Cause I am hopelessly in love. Oh gosh, hopelessly in love. I said I would never fall in love. Said never fall in love again. No, 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 no. But now I need your love each day. Just like the flowers need the rain. Yeah, yes. Please tell me everything will be okay. 'Cause I am hopelessly in love. 'Cause I am hopelessly in love. Deeper and deeper into this love. Said I'm a falling, I'm a falling, and I don't know where I'm going. Sinking into a love that's sweet and so divine. I just want you to love me all of the time. 'Cause I am hopelessly in love. Oh gosh, hopelessly in love. I said I would never fall in love. Said never fall in love again. No, 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 no. 'Cause now I need your love each day. Just like the flowers need the rain. Yeah, yeah. Please tell me everything will be okay. 'Cause I am hopelessly in love. 'Cause I am hopelessly in love. I'm hopelessly in love. And it's true. 'Cause I'm in love with you. Hopelessly, hopelessly, hopelessly in love. Hopelessly, hopelessly, hopelessly in love. 'Cause I'm in love, sweet love, with you, boy. 'Cause I'm in love, sweet love, with you, boy. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I want to leave you this last song. It's called You Can't Keep a Good Woman Down. Listen, this is the festival, Oye Festival. And this is Carroll Thompson telling you, you can't keep a good woman down. Never. Put on your dancing shoes. No, you can't keep a good woman down. Every day she'll rise wearing her crown, triumphantly, like a brand new day. When you think she's over and done, she will rise like the sun. No matter how you try, you can't keep a good woman down. No, you can't keep a good woman down. Every day she'll rise wearing her crown, triumphantly, like a brand new day. When you think she's over and done, she will rise like the sun. No matter how you try, can't keep a good woman down. So let me see you move your feet. see you moving your feet now. Woo. Join my party. No, you can't keep a good woman down. Every day she'll rise wearing her crown, triumphantly, like a brand new day. When you think she's over and done, she will rise like the sun. No matter how you try, can't keep a good woman down. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. My name is Carroll Thompson. It's been a pleasure singing for you. Take care, stay safe.
What an incredible set from British reggae legend Carroll Thompson there. If you enjoyed that exclusive concert, head to carrollthompson.co.uk. You can catch her playing live later this year. Now, the reggae acts at Africa Oye have easily become one of the most popular additions to the main stage festival lineup each year. But Liverpool's love affair with the genre of reggae goes way back beyond Africa Oye. We sat down with our festival MC, Stephen Nze, to find out about the history of reggae in Liverpool. Welcome to this month's episode of Nyumbani. I've got a very, very special guest here with me, and he's a very, very good and close friend of mine, Stephen Nze, aka the Principal.
Yes,
How are you, man?
I'm all right, no Spy. How good, bless.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah, we have, yeah. Well, through present circumstances
Yes,
and all
of
things
course.
that have gone over the past year, I suppose. None of us have seen ourselves over the last, especially over the last summer, we're definitely in over the Christmas period. So.
Now, normally we kind of catch up. When we do catch up, we always talk about some type of history. We've done this before in the past over the years. But this time we're going to talk about the history of reggae in Liverpool from the 70s to present day. Now, me coming and getting to know you guys in the 90s, you guys still had quite a bit of a scene going on there, but I didn't know much leading up until that point, up until the blues days, frontline days, So how did it get to that stage from the 70s up to the 90s?
I'm going to go from my perspective. When I was a kid anyway, I must have been, let's say, about 10. So that would have been 75. My first anything to do with reggae music, really. When I say reggae music, in what we know as reggae music, because the only thing I ever knew then was something like seeing Ken Booth on Top of the Pops once, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to love that tune, actually, by the way. Everything I Own, which was a serious tune. That opened me up to kind of Ken Booth, because in our house, my mum and my dad predominantly played soul or African music.
Yeah.
So it was, I kind of, Ken Booth was kind of a first gateway, and kind of like that vibe, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there was a youth club still there actually to this day called the Methodist Centre.
Yes.
Based on Beaconsfield Street. Now I weren't allowed to go there, so I weren't allowed, do you understand me? So that was that. So you know what I mean. But every day I used to pass there, right, to make an excuse to pass there, still on a Thursday or a Friday. So Thursday night was like a soul night, and soul DJs were playing there. But on the Friday night, it was a reggae night. And honestly, man, I remember the first experience of hearing a sound system. So this is my first experience of hearing a sound system. I'm walking past the Methodist Centre. I'm not allowed to go and remember, right? So we used to kind of just hang around. And I did like loud music in there before, but this must have been a sound, you know what I mean? And what it was, I still can go in actually on that night. But I remember we were hanging around and thinking, what was that? You know, the noise and the vibration of it and the bass line, and I just had to think about the whole vibe. Like I said, I was 10 then, right? Maybe 6 months later, I finally got in there, so I'm going on to push into near 11. And the people who were there at the time that I seen were as simple as just rastas, you know what I mean? People like Gibby, Brahma, Bunny, Carlos, Kwamina, Godfrey. I mean, the list is endless of them, man. You know what I mean. And all natty, right? And in the area at the time, you know, there was this backlash against Rastas. You know what I mean.
Yes.
Big backlash, right? And it wasn't just in Liverpool, as you know, Spy. It was right around the country, and even within the West Indies and the Caribbean. But it was here too. You know what I mean. So the Rastas were seen as don't go near them, man. Blah. That's what my dad used to tell me, you know, because my dad's African, you remember. So he used to tell me, don't go near the Rastas, right? Don't be anywhere near them Rastas. But of course, I'd find an excuse on a Friday to go to the Methodist, and they'd let me in. And as kids, you know, me, the likes of Brownie, a few of us were all kind of that age. And we used to just stand up by the side of the sound system, because we were kids, so these are all of the bigger ones then, you know. And running sound, and looking at these big speakers, and me thinking to myself, wow, you know, it's like, it's just a whole new experience in it as a child. And so, again, it wasn't like I was coming into that as a young adult, I was coming into that as a child. And I'm telling you, that by going to the Methodist on a Friday night just changed I believe, changed the whole direction of my life. Do you get what I'm saying? Forevermore. Because it was like, I don't know, it was, I wanted to go every week. The people who were around, like the Rastas then, at the time, you know, they used to treat me nice, do you know what I mean? And it was like a cultural base, man, because, you know, there was a lot of like, as I grew up through that anyway, and that kind of set of peoples, it was just a cultural thing. It was music, you know, of course, like, there'd always be problems, you'd always have problems within the area or whatever, but growing up, coming up, it was some of those men that me looked up to, do you know what I mean? And actually brought me through. And I always used to say that if it wasn't for them, man, really, we don't know whether I would have even survived some of my earlier days, you know what I mean? Because some of them, man, were more inspiring, and then, you know, they kind of give a little bit of a push. One of the other people also within that, a year of that, really, that started to inspire me as well. Again, and he wasn't even so much of a reggae DJ, he was a soul DJ, but he crossed the borders, which was Ivan Freeman.
Of course.
And Ivan Freeman at the time was, to me, and even because, you know, family members, you know, who were older than me, he was the man, do you know what I mean? And what he was doing was, he was the one, like, you know, a lot of the R&B clubs didn't want reggae. But the DJ, what the DJ do is the last like 10 or something, he'd throw a little one in there for the man's then, right? And that's what Ivan was doing, but Ivan was doing that in the city centre. But he was coming to the Methodist Centre on the Thursday night and doing R&B nights for the youths, for all the kids. So we were always in there, and he played to rhythm, do you understand me, at the end of it? Yeah. So now this has taken me through into like, let's say the 80s. Just before I got to the 80s, I had some problems through leaving home, probably around the age of 12. And I remember going to, I was in this place called Bowler Street Assessment Centre, and used to get a little pocket money on a Saturday. And I wanted to buy records, man, do you know what I mean? Because they took me into town, one of the members of staff took us into town, and to do some shopping with all the other kids. They want to go buy a little pick and mix from Woolies and whatever, you understand me? But this woman, she went by Probe Records, right? Yeah. So it was the first time I'd really been by a record shop as well, you know what I mean, by being in that place. Took me around Probe, and I was fascinated with what it was. You know, as a kid when you get to Probe, especially back then, I'm looking at these people thinking, boy, people are easy here, man. Because there's a mix and blend of all kinds, you know what I mean? Some people, some funny looking eyes, but you got to remember, at that time, we're also going through that whole punk era. That's right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There was a whole heap of things going on in Liverpool, you know. And so when I got to Probe, I checked out Probe anyway, there was a record shop, and I'd also remembered, right, from Ivan Freeman telling me, right, this is before I got in there, you know, right, because there was a link with Ivan about this Probe Records. You just mention it to kids or whatever, you know what I mean, go and buy records. So when I was there, now I seen this Probe, I went in there and I asked about records and certain things. I didn't really have a clue, you know, really what I was doing, right? But the fella behind the place saying to me, so what do you like listening to? And I said, Bob Marley, right? Because at the time, as a youth, it's the only first thing that comes to my brain. And secondly, because Bob had been in the charts as well. Plus of that is This Love, do you understand me? You know,
he was in the country at that time as well.
Yeah, well, again, I was in a youth in it, but I also acquired the single of Is This Is Love on the island, so that was one of my first records I got, right? And then I'd saved some money, and I bought Love Is Only Love from there, right? Styx Icy version. That, right, I remember on a Spear label, 12-inch. I bought that, and I bought Rastaman Vibration. And I took them with me, because I left that I tell you, these tunes made me survive, because I went from there now to an approved school, got sent out to Yorkshire till I was about 16. And every Friday night in the school, right, you're allowed, you had one of those little record players that lift the lid up, so you have a button on the front. On a Friday night, you're allowed to go and play your 2 tunes. Do you know what I mean? And in this school, it's a school predominantly in Yorkshire, in Liverpool, about 80 kids in there. There's only 3 black kids in the school. Do you understand me? So all the music that everyone, you've got a cue to listen to all this music, and it's a combination of punk, rock, half of music. One thing I did get was a good German, different types of music by being in that school, because all these kids all had their own kind of blends of things. And then we get to me, do you know what I mean? And we just play about Marley, right? Put that on. Whatever one was in my mind at the time, whatever I was feeling, that's what I come to understand about that album. Whatever I was feeling, I could express it in the tune. Yeah. I was going through some bad times in there, you know what I mean? And then I put Love Is Only Love on. I always put that on last, because it was a 12-inch in it, and it played dead long, right? And all the kids were vexed, because they're all in there with the singles, and I'm there in, alright, I've got an album. They had albums themselves, being allowed to play one track. And anyway, but I say that was, from an early age, that was something that stuck with me, was the Rastas, sound systems, and that was my first inkling. When I came out at 16, I started to move around certain people around Faulkner Estate, and sound systems were everywhere. There was about 5-6 sound systems in the area then.
Who were they?
So you had Gibby had a sound, Black and Majesty, that was Margaret Talisi, he had a sound, Kwamina,
I remember them.
Did I say Brian had a sound, Ruben Spooner passed away, God rest his soul, he had a sound. You had Danny Fife, and Patrick Graham's dad, they had a sound. I think that was called Scorcher, their sound. I could keep going through this list here, but the predominant sounds were going to be like the Rastaman sounds. So like you're talking like Gibby, Kwamina, Brymer. You see, them kind of crew there. They were, Gibby had, Gibby started out with Crasher. Crasher sound. That turned to, when we started dealing with that sound, then we turned it into King Struggler. And then there was a whole revamp, and there was some money invested. And
which I remember.
Yeah, we started in with ad-lib, and it's converted from going from preamps to desks, do you know what I mean? But that process of me getting into those sounds, again, was just by, going to bluesers. Because if you think about it, even at 16, I wasn't involved in the reggae scene, but there was a big reggae scene around, do you know what I mean? You had clubs like Jamaica House, and you had all the Ebo and all those other clubs that are around as well, you know what I mean? And you had reggae nights in there, or the music was a combination of reggae and so a lot of the DJs who couldn't play in town would get like jobs in those clubs, do you know what I mean? So that's how I made my first year. I started getting jobs, my first few jobs. I think my first job ever I had as a DJ was in Jamaica House under James, because James Class had he got the job off John, didn't he, John Arboyne? But John Arboyne wouldn't employ none of us. He wouldn't employ Rastas, right? So he wouldn't employ us, but he employed James, and James kind of brought us in. Do you know what I mean? So Margaret Talisi, Simeon, who had Black and Majesty, so in that sound was Mango Dan, God rest him, he's passed away, as to Roger Kwamina, Marcus Braithwaite, Ganja Pickney, Gary Brownman. That was they were like what they call the Rude Boy sound. And they were based on like Saxon. They were listening to likes of Saxon that was coming down the area. You know what I mean? And I remember them times, 16, 17, we started to then go to dances.
That's right.
And get out. I joined an organisation then called 12 Tribes of Israel, because I think that must have been when I was about 17, because I started to lock up, do you know what I mean? So you could see now my direction's going in a certain way, like I said, going back to listen to that sound system. So I joined this organisation called 12 Tribes of Israel, and we used to go to Manchester all the time to buy medlock, pay our dues and stuff, and it was 12 Tribes of Israel had dances all the time. They had one a month, big dances up in Manchester, Birmingham, all over the place.
Because Bob Marley spent a lot of time with them when he was
12 Tribes. Because he was a 12 Tribes member. And so, again, being exposed to a lot of those sound systems that were out of town.
Yes.
And now that's where I'm starting to see big sound systems, because in Liverpool, the thing is, they've always had sound systems, but I wouldn't say they've had the biggest of sound systems. Never been like a Manchester, you know, where you've had a sound like Baron and all those big sounds that have been around for years. We know all them, man, don't we? God rest his soul too. And some of the sounds that were coming out of London, Birmingham, do you know what I mean? Yeah, man, Siffer, Wassifer. But we had good sounds, you know what I mean, in the sense of competitive and real in our own city, and sounds were coming down now, you know what I mean? We were having sound clashes, this and the other thing that started to go on. And you could see that the sound systems within Liverpool were growing, in the sense of most youths who wanted to get into this and the other thing and any type of other music usually went through a sound system, because that's just the way it was, innit? Because it was all bluesers, there was bluesers everywhere. Right. Do you know what I mean? I'm now going through my 20s, I'm getting into my teens now, going through the teens, you know. Again, you know, if I just take a little rewind, 81 I got out, so I was 16, then you had the riots.
Yes.
And again, going back to Ivan Freeman at that time was the #1 DJ in this city. It could have been, to be quite honest with you, if Ivan Freeman was exposed, do you understand me, to the country, could have been one of the biggest DJs in the country. Because Ivan Freeman was doing stuff which was on the next level, you know. I remember he was doing those panic tapes, no one was doing them, do you know what I mean? I've never known and even knew what everyone was saying, where's these tapes coming from? So if you went to London down at them times, you go down to London, there was a lot of pirate radios stations that started to just kind of kick off down there.
Yeah.
Well, not that they just started, but they were there, weren't they?
Yeah.
And you know, the whole thing about jingles had started to come in, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And Ivan had got onto that. He must have been one of the first people who got onto it. And I don't know, it used to have, you know, as equipment, rudimentary equipment that was around at the time.
Yeah.
But he was creating mixes. So you were getting these tapes, panic tapes, and they were just like, there was just mixes. You were saying, how's he put that tape together, man, with all these kind of jingles and drop beats, all kinds were going on in it, man. And he was bringing music like, you know, a lot of green sleeves and fashion label.
Yes.
That was brand new, really, because green sleeves were just really becoming predominant around that point in the 80s. Yeah. I believe that the riots and everything, the disturbances around the whole country blew those labels up. Do you know what I'm saying? Because all the artists were going through there because they were UK-based labels.
That's right, yeah.
And a lot of opportunities through those labels, and a lot of music was pumped out, and it was the music that we called the music at the time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And Ivan was right on it, but he was mixing reggae with soul and R&B.
Right.
And he was always up to date with his tunes. Ivan had contacts with music, do you know what I mean? And he was playing at Kirkland's at the time. He was playing at the Timepiece. I think he was playing at the Timepiece. Then he moved on to Kirkland's. He was the best DJ that ever played. You know, from the time when Kirkland's had its heyday upstairs, he was what made Kirkland's.
Wow.
When anyone talks about Kirkland's, going back in the day, the name brand stuck because of that time. Do you know what I mean? Because before that time, there was nothing to go on, but it blew up into something. Do you get what I'm saying? There was a scene that was going on, and like I say, I was kind of connected to reggae and R&B. So, you know, sound systems have always been, as far as I know, from a young lad, right, around. They got stronger, I would say. So let's say getting into the 90s now. So we've gone through the 80s, we're hitting the 90s. Even Crusher sound changed, Gibby changed the sound. There was more investment went into that, and you know, like I said, we had a contract with Ackee, didn't we? So Ackee now rebuilt and designed the whole set. Do you get what I'm saying? From speakers, everything was relined. So we done that because we wanted to go out and compete.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? With other sounds around, do you know what I mean? And we did play, you know what I mean? And a lot of DJs then would come through our sound as well, do you get what I'm saying? And we'd be running bluesers.
Feel lost it.
Of course. But that also then inspired another sound in Liverpool, do you understand me? Which is, to me, it's the last sound that was really created in this city, do you get what I'm saying? As a sound system, as a collective of all that went on before it. Because remember, you know, when I was a kid, I was looking at these older men, giving all them as Rastas. Now, they're only like 7 years older than me now, but when I, you know, that's 7 years as a kid, you're little, they're still a man's then. So I've grew up and ended up being, you know, dealing with them on the same kind of level of age. But it's always been young people coming through. Yeah. It's always the way anyway, music, that's how music rolls. That's right. The next generation bring it through. Through the 90s, there was an individual called Carl Williams, very good friend of mine, Carl. And at the time me and him moved, we moved together. And the funniest thing about it is I remember me and Carl sitting in his bedroom in Sandon Street, and we couldn't get... Carl wanted to be a selector, right? He loved playing tunes, do you know what I mean? But you couldn't get in the clubs. No one would let you play anywhere. Do you get what I'm saying? The only time we'd get a little thing is if we go by man's and we got a little deck and we try a little thing. Yeah. Same with me. I wanted to get on the mic, but they wouldn't let me on the mic, right? Mango and none of them, man, right? They wouldn't let you on the mic.
Yeah.
You'd have to wait and wait your turn. And
those days.
Sometimes you're waiting and you're still not getting your piece out. Or they gear and you get your little piece and drag the mic off you, one of them. But so me, Inspector, used to always practice in his yard, you know, and we'd be listening to like Kilimanjaro and all of those kind of sounds, Saji and all of them, right? So, so I was emulating those DJs, and he was listening to the kind of music and the mixes and stuff like that. Carl still wants to this day one of the best selectors I know.
Yes, he is.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And his knowledge as well, you know, and that goes back to them times. And then finally we got our playing Jamaica House. Remember I said to him, James Class gets in there, James gives us a little 20 minutes, do you know what I mean? We've gone from there. But Carl was always in his own way, was never really, I would say at that time, a sound man. He was always around mans who were around sound, because he was never an MC. And even though he was a selector, do you get what I'm saying? Now and then he'd get a little play, but I think in his brain he knew what he really wanted. He wanted his own sound. That's what he wanted, do you know what I mean? And Carl had the means and ways to get that sound.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I remember, you know, as you do, you know, when you make you're first buying a sound, you're doing stuff, or you think you know what you're doing. He didn't want to go to certain bigger mans for advice, because I don't even think he wanted to let them know he was building the sound, right? Because, you know, it's one of them. But what he done was he went to, you know, remember Carey Music in town?
Yes, of course, yeah.
So we went to Carey's now, right? He went there himself, had this wad of money, put some money down, said to the fella, I'm going to come back and keep paying off, right? And so the boy's storing all these speakers for the minute, so he's taking the time to do it, you know. One day, he didn't even tell anyone he was doing this, you know, right? And then he's come to me one day and he says, I need you to come and have a look at something, kid. Right? So I said, what? He goes, come into town with us. God's street, you know, come into town with us. So I said, okay. I knew he'd up to something, you know what I mean? Because, you know, and I knew there was something going on. Gets to Carey Music, goes in, and he says, see them there? So look, and says, he's dead old man. Right? Big centre box kid, and that's all. Wow. He changed all of them, of course, because later on he realised that, you know, he's ended up just buying PA standard boxes, but he's bought a load of noise, so that can make a lot of noise, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's all, he is in his brain, that's what he wanted, to make a big bag of noise, do you get what I'm saying? And got the sound up there. I remember there was, you know, there's a few mans then hanging in that sound. I was moving my car at that time and within that sound. So that's when we were looking at the name of the sound, because originally we were going to call it Black Lion or Blacker Lion. Yeah. There was all this debate and blah, 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 blah. And then it ended up one a penny. One a penny. Do you understand me? And you know yourself, Spy, right? One a penny changed the face of sound systems in Liverpool. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I ended up staying. What it done was it took it from old school. It took it from old school to new school. Do you know what I mean? If you know what I mean by that, innit? Because all the elders that were involved in the sounds, like Gibby, all the same mans then. Do you understand me? They had control over the sound system business and all the bluesers. That's right. You can't run a blues unless you got a set system. So all the DJs, you know, as you know, had to go through those bluesers, and more time, man, even get pay. Yes. Yeah. You drink and that's about it. And what they're making, you can see money getting mech in it. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. There's a younger generation now coming up, seeing money being mech. They're into sounds too. They're into music, and they want to perform. So it's just enterprise, really. That's how we come through, isn't it? That's how Deep Fresh, T-Shine, Ola Dean, JC, myself. We all came through the bluesers. Everyone. I remember man standing in Gibby's blues, and I remember I used to run that blues. That's right. Frontline. Yeah, I used to run that set, and Gibby never wanted no one. Your brother, Little Dread. Yeah, our Georgie. Yeah. No one. Because he was my selector at the time. No one wanted. Gibby didn't want no. You know, he didn't want no R&B played in there, right? And that was for the other side of the road. Say, yeah, man, make them go play that over there, right? But he's not playing it in here, right? But me knew from a business point of view, we need to play R&B in this building because the way the building is and set up, it's a blues, and you can have reggae nights where it's ram. Do you understand me?
Yes.
But to get the crowd in, you know, you want to get girls in, you want to get youngers in, and the only way you're going to do that, right, is to mix and blend it.
Yeah.
And get them in, and then mix it, and then later on you turn it into the blues. Do you get what I'm saying? So they, you know, that's how we try to balance that. That's how some of you got into Gibbies in it.
That's right.
But the competition come, didn't it? Went over the road, did open.
Yes.
Because what happened was, as I said, Inspector now had built one a penny.
Yeah.
The reason I ended up with Gibby was because I ended up leaving one a penny. Do you understand me? You know, that sound, it was a young sound. I was still young in a sense myself. I was one of the oldest in there, do you get what I'm saying? But it was going in a different direction, I'd say that, you know what I mean, as a young crew. We loved them, and Inspector Lou and all that man did that, you know what I mean? So they moved forward, but I ended up going more to work with Gibby and them. I'm struggling because at that time, that's what I'm saying, we were building that sound up, do you get what I'm saying? So we kind of got a V-line and all the rest of it. But What a Penny moved on. Brownie was open over the road. You know, that was another scene that was set, even though you had little places around. Brian was still running Senator.
That's right. Yeah.
But you remember Brian, again, bless him, the brethren. Brian was set his was just reggae in the sense of dub.
That's
do you know
right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't swaying in any different directions.
No, he just.
When we used to do blues with Brian and Ivan, funny enough, back in the day, play loads of different things, do you know what I mean? You know, but he'd always swayed that way, Brian, because Brian comes from that whole era of, remember I said to you, when the sounds were playing, inside, back in the day, it was all dub.
Yes.
Everything was dub, you know what I mean? And then man would chant some lyrics and whatever over it, do you know what I mean? So he just stayed in that dub sector, so he had his own audiences, he always would have his own audiences. But One a Penny cleared up what's called the audience, in a sense, because they're a young, vibrant sound, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing young, vibrant music. They changed the sound system in the sense of it wasn't just a reggae sound, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Everyone knew it was a reggae sound, but they drop in the R&B. They'd always have a DJ yourself.
Yeah, Spady was coming to play garage or
And then I'd say it was a youth man sound. Then, do you know what I mean? As you say, garage and all these. Jungle and all these other things starts coming. Remember even at one time, you know, when I tried to change that myself, which was when I was working with Gibby and we were running Struggler, Jungle had come in, do you get what I'm saying? And everyone, you know, we were all anti-Jungle trying to fight it. But I was kind of into Jungle, right? Because I could see like how the whole crossover thing and the whole modernisation of our music was moving anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like all of us, you know, but like some of it, and you remember we used to play in the Cumberland in town. So they asked us, the only reason they asked us to play is because we had the heaviest sound in town, do you know what I mean? And we did at that time have a heavy duty sound, do you know what I mean? Because we take it in there and put the Jungle DJs on and just rip up the building. But one night, I remember this one night, I just went overload, I just like overloaded the set. You know, you just get carried away kind of thing. It was just like, it was just going off in there and in the building, rammed, you know what I mean? And it was just going off now, and I think we must have burnt out about 4 bass bins in there, which didn't go down well. But that's when Gibby then also, in a sense, says, no more of that. I'm just going back to reggae music. I don't want to be dealing with all this music, and you know what I mean, and all the rest of it. So Struggler went back over to just being a reggae sound on its own in the front line.
Yeah, that's right. Because we used to go the blues downstairs, Brownies, go there first, and then if you wanted to get a little reggae, we go over the road to front line and enjoy the rest of the night there.
That's it, because he wouldn't. He just it became a place of no soul, no jungle, no this, no blah 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 blah. But then, you know, like I said, One a Penny set up a whole new scene. Do you get what I'm saying? In a sense of, honestly, right, and it was also an explosion of DJs as well, because as you know, right, we've mentioned all the DJs. Like you just mentioned before, and a lot of them came through Struggler as well, because we'd be playing, you know, you could only use when playing in city centres. You were playing through those sounds.
That's right.
Then promotions were starting to get done, and then you started to get into town with promotions and all the rest of it.
That's right.
But that's why I'm saying that One a Penny were very instrumental in all of that.
For sure.
And
without
as a reggae sound, you know, One a Penny is still functioning to this day.
Yeah.
They've got connections to Liverpool and Manchester.
Yeah.
So Carl, Lewin, you know, they're out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they are you know, when I go back to Liverpool later and talk about reggae music and the sound systems and all the people who are connected to it, and yet I have left some names out here, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I'm getting on we've heard a few things. So if your name wasn't mentioned, don't take offence. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, there's a lot of people who've been involved in reggae over the years. A lot of them older mans, and some of them have passed away as well. Do you know what I mean? As we've said. And again, one of the most instrumental people, I have to mention his name's got to be John Arboy, who runs Jamaica House. Because again, Jamaica House, you know, although it was seen as an R&B kind of club, a lot of reggae vibes and a lot of reggae nights went on in there. Some of the best reggae nights I can remember went on in there back in the late 80s. Again, going back to the days of Cipher.
Yeah.
I remember Wassifer played in Jamaica House.
Wow.
Downstairs.
Yeah.
And it's only a small gaff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, that's when John got the wall done and extended into the two buildings. And you know, all those memories of those hot reggae nights. Do you know what I mean? And growing up, which we all do miss in a way, because again, everything's just changed. Do you know what I mean? Our community isn't the same as it was. Do you know what I mean?
No,
so
no.
There's no blues and none of that anymore. But again, music is expanded, and there's in Liverpool there's a reggae scene in Liverpool, as we can see with what's going on with Positive.
Yeah.
And there's always been a big following of. One thing I will say is there's always been a big following of reggae music in Liverpool.
Very true.
Do you know what I mean? There's always has been. You know, when certain things used to go on in the park, going back to like Larks in the park.
Yes.
I mean, this is a pre-run to Oye and all of them things. You know, there was reggae bands that were coming in and playing.
That's
with
right.
punk bands, rock bands, all the rest of all kind of bands. But if there was ever a reggae band turned up, do you get what I'm saying? That boy would be ram. Because of course, you know, the people have always swung to reggae through that period of time. But one a penny now, again, there's nowhere in the community where sound systems play, which is a bit of that does grab me in a way, because the places have all gone, basically.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So sound system has had that problem of surviving then in Liverpool, because there's no venues for sound systems. That's not to say that there isn't still sound systems now around, small sound systems that are building up in different types of sound systems, because now these types of venues. But what's happening is that the people who are involved in sound systems in the community back in the day, they've kind of either moved away from and gone into other things, or it's just, how can I explain it? The next generation didn't come through.
Yeah.
Do you know, like I was saying before, the way I came through that way, and others did too, and underneath us, and you know, and there was people again after us who like won a pennies of a day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was another crop that was probably supposed to come after them, and it just didn't seem to happen. The reason that never happened was because also was the way the community changed. You know what I mean? Our community changed in the sense of the clubs all went over a long period of time. All those clubs went. Do you know what I mean? And to be quite honest with you, the knell of it probably would have been the Caribbean Centre, when the Caribbean Centre did finally close. I know it's really only got things going on, but because that was the last place anyone could put a sound system in.
That's
I
right.
think the last anything that I remember of any sounds playing are some of the biggest nights that we had left of our last days in sound, and I played with Gibby, were in there against other sounds. But the venues went, and there wasn't venues in the city centre to play. Things have changed now over these years, of course. You know, even if you look at this whole district where we are now, do you know what I mean? And the kind of venues that are around, even here, this building, do you know what I mean? You know, how many sessions have been done in here and work with an artist that have come here, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so I remember, was it Freddie? I'm trying to think who it was, you know, that they performed in the Caribbean. No, they performed here and then went up to the Caribbean Centre and performed. Do you get what I'm saying? So. And now the Caribbean's gone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And there's nowhere up there really and truly. One a penny, for them to apply their work, they're applying their work more out of town.
They are, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They're just like kind of outsourcing their stuff now, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're getting work that way, do you know what I mean? But yeah, you know, the reggae scene is still vibrant. I mean, like I said, it's gone through loads of transitions over the years, and different people have all been involved, and there's been different scenes. There is a big scene now in Liverpool, and it's a reggae scene that was bigger. It's kind of weird because it's a reggae scene that was bigger than the scene that we had before, but it's a different reggae scene, because the scene that we had before was typically LA based. was Liverpool.
That's right. Now what Rory and the guys are doing now is
everyone would have to go into Liverpool.
That's
Then,
right.
do you know what I mean? And the blues was full of black, white people. Everyone, do you understand me? You know, so but it was concentrated within an area because you didn't have all these other areas. Now there was. Remember, outside of Liverpool, city centre, reggae music. You're not playing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not going to be happening.
Yeah.
Most times it was through the students. Do you get what I'm saying? And maybe something would go on with the students.
with the student unions or something.
Unions be putting stuff on, and you know, most of some of the biggest bands I've seen that have been reggae bands have all been in Montfordall, and they all came through the students' union.
That's right.
So what I'm saying is, there's always been elements of different reggae scenes going on, and different people have had like connections as well. You know what I mean? And that does all go back, you know, to. All right, like I've just said, I'm trying to give it an inkling from 75 onwards. There was a scene before then as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, and where did it all come from? Well, we know where it all come from, don't we? You know what I mean? It's coming from, you know, the West Indian families are starting to come in. Do you get what I'm saying? That, you know, they're bringing in their vibe.
Yes.
You know, the recent film that was done, was at the Grove.
Yeah.
Was it Mangrove? The Mangrove, the Grove. Yeah. That was on BBC One, wasn't it, as part of that series? I watched that, and when I watched that, right, it really did take me back, that, you know, in the sense of the feel of everything that was around, you know what I mean? Because again, that was like middle 70s, you know what I mean? Early 70s, middle 70s. And just the way they were dressing, everyone was dressed, you know what I mean? But they really got that really spot on, actually, because it was like watching my dad and all his mates and think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could feel the whole vibe about it. But that tells you the typical story as well, in a sense of something being concentrated within an area, and how the music scene got here. Do you get what I'm saying? Why reggae music? Because people didn't have nowhere else to go and play their music, and they couldn't find the music, they couldn't hear it nowhere else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Shabeens were a combination as well, don't forget, of like reggae and the Yanks, because we had the Yanks who were also bringing music.
Brought the soul over.
The soul, so you got the Yanks bringing the soul, and you got the West Indies bringing the reggae.
Calypso.
All of that, do you know what I mean? You know, which is all part of, again, you know, this beautiful fabric of Liverpool, really, if you think about it. And because if you know, again, I'm about to start a project that we're doing with the Blue Coat.
Yes.
It's based on origins and the makeup of the city, in the sense of going right back and what makes it and what brings it, and also the history of the Blue Coat as well. So it'll touch some nerves, like, but it's to be done. But it's also, it's not because of current situations. It's because we've been planning this for about 3 years. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And now it's going to happen with these young people. And there's a lot of, like, you know, things that'll be coming out of it. And there was a discussion we were having yesterday, funny enough, about the whole music scene and how music, again, origins of music within Liverpool, in this city. And we were talking about, like, you know, the Irish connection and the country connection. You know, it's a big country western, you know, the whole big, massive country western things were going on in Liverpool back in the day. I mean, my mother, she's from Birkenhead, and even to this day, all the Birkenheaders, loads of them love country western. Yeah. When I speak to them, they say to me, it's just something that they've always had. It's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. And again, country western going back to folk, you know what I mean? You start looking at all those connections, and all, you know, we know this story of what this city is really.
But it's good to just know and have somebody tell you and just see it all in detail.
Yeah, well, it's really, it really is. So, you know, to me, music in Liverpool is a mixture and blend of all kind of things that have come in and influences, and reggae stands in there.
Yes, for sure.
Do you get what I'm saying? It stands in there with it all, really. And like I say, if you look at what's going on now, you know, in Liverpool with what Rory and all the crew are doing with the positive, you kind of look at that and say to yourself, well, there's a scene now. It shows you that there's a following. People are coming into it. All right, there's people come from out of town here, but there's a following within the city.
That's right.
Because it couldn't have lasted if there wasn't. No. Do you know what I mean? So reggae is here. It's still here, isn't it?
Yes.
It's still here, it's just part of that whole fabric. We talk about the fabric of reggae. Yeah. It's moved, and there's where it is, and here's where we are. Yeah. And you know, it'll still be here after I'm gone. And you know what I mean. And the influences, you know, the influences that everyone's had pass on to the next people. Like I said, one of the things that it does grind me, like, within my area, because all of us were all DJs and MCs, loads of us, do you know what I mean? And some pretty good MCs and some pretty good DJs, do you know what I mean? And we used to go and challenge enough people out of town to come and challenge us too. So we could hold our own, but we never expanded that. Do you know what I mean? If you know what I mean, it's like that next set of crop of young ones, DJs and MCs, I don't see them. It's kind of a weird one, you know what I mean? I just do not see them in our area as much. You know, we used to run DJ workshops and all that kind of stuff, didn't we, with all the kids?
Yeah, and I just remember me and Rich had the DJ school and
then you'd see them all coming through then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it seems like that's all gone as well. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if I mean, again, because I'm in a different line of business myself these days with the kids I work with, but it just doesn't seem like there's a musical, in our area, there doesn't seem like there's a musical drive anymore. And maybe it's because the whole area's changed, because we haven't got all those clubs, bars, pubs and everything that we used to have, and there's no youth centres. Well, there is youth centres, but even they're not driven by music. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lacking in the music scene. I think.
A lot of them are doing them behind closed doors in their own house. And
This is the other thing.
You can go online from your own bedroom now, can't you?
Well, yeah. I think what I'm getting to there is the DJ and the MC.
Yeah.
So you've got loads of artists that are out there producing the stuff. They're out there, I know.
Yeah.
You know,
I know what you mean though. You're talking about the essence of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. There's enough artists out there. I know enough artists myself that are doing stuff. I know people who are producing stuff. I know people who've got their own studios and hours and all the rest of it. And you know, they're making books, man. Do you know what I mean? But it's still. I don't know. I can't explain it. It seems that's great, but. Back in the day, you might not be doing, but you'd always be showcasing yourself. You'd always be out. There'd always be someone somewhere to perform and go and show people what you're doing. Everyone would know who everyone was. Oh, have you heard that new kid, boy? He's wicked. I seen him last night, you know, down by radio or whatever. And then, but now I don't know. That seems to have some of that's disappeared. It might not just be to do with reggae. I think it may be to do with the whole music scene as well, because it's saturated in it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, and also, you know. Performance places. If you're a performer now, there's that many performers out there, you know what I mean? It's like, but only the best can get through anyway at certain venues and certain promoters and venues anyway. It's down to venues.
Yeah.
Like I said, what we didn't have years ago, what is here now, is this whole area. What we've got now, the Baltic. I know it's kind of under threat and all the rest of it, but. Without even the district, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And certain venues around here that we've seen things happen.
Yeah, Kitchen Street.
Yeah,
boys, Culture Deck boys trying to do their
This
best.
is what I'm trying to say.
You know?
So really, this is the scene, innit? This is the scene. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, you know, to me, you know, I just hope that now, you know, 'cause I've heard some things there, but I just hope that this whole area kind of gets a bit protected in that way. And
I think we'll be alright. I think we'll be alright.
I hope so, because like, you know, it needs to, innit, really, do you know what I mean?
Power to people and all that, you know.
Power to the people, yeah, power to the people.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, right now I'm not so much involved in music, I just keep my eye out on a few peeps around, you know what I mean? People send me stuff. But there's like a few artists out there, like you say, there's rappers, there's a couple of kids I know that a lyricist, man, they're chatting lyrics, but they choose not to so much chat over reggae. That's another thing what I found as well, is that like a lot of reggae artists, DJs, MCs, you know, because the whole style of MCing kind of has gone through loads of changes anyway.
That's right, yeah.
And so, you know, sometimes, what's the difference between rap? I've had remember someone saying to me one day, what's the difference between rap and that, kid? Because they're just, is that reggae or is that, you know what I mean? I said, well, really, it's fused, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what's really happening. It's all just fused. So, you know, you've got tunes now that you listen to and you go, it sounds reggae. You know what I mean? It sounds reggae. But, you know, it isn't reggae.
And then what's rap?
And then what's rap, you know what I
be.
mean? So there's different genres. I think what it is because there's that many different genres of music as well within what you call urban music now, do you know what I mean? But me, I'm an old schooler, so if you say to me what's reggae, well, it's what I've been listening to since when I come in, do you know what I mean? You know, it's the root, do you know what I mean? It's a beat, it's a bass, a drum, a lyric, a bit of harps in there, some brass, do you know what I mean? A beat and some vibes, and that's what I see as reggae, do you know what I mean? Some modern reggae I hear these days, and there's some of the stuff that I don't even know that's even...
Yeah, but you like classic reggae. Classic, classic.
You know, and there's not many artists like, you know, probably one of my favourite artists right now is probably the likes of Chronix and them kind of people, because I'm still in that camp, do you know what I mean? Really? So if I go out, that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear not really, but that's my genre.
Your generation, exactly.
My generation,
exactly.
you know what I mean? Yeah, because if you're saying something positive, you're saying it, but if you've got something to say crap or negative, I got no time to be listening to that. Well, as you know already, when I was at MC, we never really get in the rare thing. No. If we had to go into a battle with a man on it differently, you know what I mean? But naturally, I was, my thing was like make the girls feel nice
and enjoy yourself, and
time, about vibes, you know what I mean?
And that's what it was all about.
And that's what it was about, and so
yeah,
that's it, man. Let's just see. I'm looking forward now, with this COVID and all that's going. So we've said.
And see what can be done.
And see that, we've got some things.
Events will be back.
Well, you've got some events coming up now over this summer here, so this is everyone's looking forward to just getting out and getting the vibe. So,
definitely,
I'll be out here regularly, as you know I will be.
Nze, it's been a pleasure, Honestly, I just knew that we can just sit here and just talk. Yeah. We've done a number of shows together like this anyway.
It's man, it's been nice still, just reliving some memories actually. It really has, and some of the people that I've mentioned as well, like have passed and gone as well, been really, really influential, and especially like my brother Brian.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, bro. Honestly. Yeah, man.
I'm blessed to all of them who with us and passed on already.
For sure.
Blessed love.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to Stephen Nze for taking the time to talk to us this month. Hopefully it won't be too long before we're all watching him introduce the Africa Oye lineup in Sefton Park once again. Now another festival regular, whether it be providing food for our Oye audience as part of his Eat Up Gud traders stall, or keeping our artists and staff fed backstage, Falola certainly knows his way around the Caribbean kitchen. Let's find out why the Granby Street Market mainstay has in store for us.
Hi, welcome to my kitchen. I say my kitchen, I borrowed it for today. My name is Falola and I do the backstage, I have the honour of doing the backstage catering at Oye. So today we're going to do, thought about it lots. One of my favourite dishes is a dish called cuckoo, which is from Barbados. Similar to the Italian polenta, but also similar to many African dishes. Now I'll allude to that as we go. So today I'm doing cuckoo, and I'm going to serve that with ackee and saltfish with tomato base. So let's move to the ingredients. The thing is I'm from a Caribbean house, and sort of if I ask my mum what she puts in anything, she'll just say, well, you just put in what you've got. So this is what I've got. So what have we got today? We've got some saltfish, and that comes dried, and this one has been boiled twice to get the salt out of it. We've got some ackee, and this is a berry that grows wild in Jamaica. I've got some chopped peppers and chopped onions, and I've also put some pepper in there, some hot pepper. When I picked these up, I thought I was picking up Scotch bonnets. These aren't Scotch bonnets, so I'm just a bit curious how hot they're going to be. We've got some garlic there, some cornmeal, fine cornmeal. You can use coarse if you want. I prefer to use fine. We've got some maple syrup, some thyme, hot pepper sauce, all-purpose seasoning, bit of ketchup, sweet chilli sauce, chopped tomatoes, tomato puree, and vegetable stock. We've also got some okra, and people tend to worry about okra. They don't like okra because it's very slimy when you use it. If you wash it before you slice it and then dry it off with a towel, then when you slice it, there's a lot less slime, so it's a lot easier to work with. So I've sliced some okra already, and I've added that to some veg stock, and that's just boiled up for when we're actually going to make the cuckoo, but that comes in a little while. Okay, so let's start. Let's make a start. So first thing, always onions, fried onions and peppers. Good hot pan, get it sizzling. With onions, you should cook your onions for at least 10 minutes. Okay, just going to add a little garlic. Get that in there. Get that cooking through, get some heat under it to just soften that up. If ever I'm making cuckoo, I've always got to have a cuckoo stick, and it's got to come in somewhere. It's tradition. Okay, I'm going to throw some thyme in there as well. I don't mind, I'll throw the stalks in as well and pick those out after, but the stalks have flavour. So these are ackee, and ackee is the national fruit of Jamaica. In fact, ackee and saltfish is the national dish of Jamaica, although I'm doing a variation on it. Certainly in Liverpool, Smithdown Road, Asda has ackee. Their food aisle does all sorts of things. But you'll find in a lot of halal shops or multicultural grocers will stock ackee. They're not cheap. I think it's about a £5 a tin. So they ain't cheap, but they're all good. And that's what they look like in the raw. And taste a bit like scrambled egg. Okay, just whilst we're standing around, the tomatoes I've actually blanched and peeled. For those of you who don't know how to blanch tomatoes, if you just make a small cross in the centre, I always use that little dot there, just make a small cross across there, just drop them in hot water, literally pull them straight out, straight into cold water, and what you'll find is that the skin will peel off fairly easily. I also, if I'm doing ackee and saltfish, tend to take the seeds out, so I'll cut you in half, de-seed it, which is what's happened with those ones. These ones aren't particularly ripe. I wish they were more ripe, so we'll use more puree, but also to bring out the sweetness in the tomato, a bit of maple syrup, fantastic. We'll throw in our tomatoes, just mix those in, it up. We'll put in a squeeze of tomato puree. Drop of maple syrup. Okay, just stir that up and we'll just leave that to cook down. Okay, so just give that a minute or so. And so, this is the saltfish. Now this saltfish, when it arrives, it comes in packs like this. It's packed in salt. You can't just eat it like this, it's too salty, it's inedible. So, some people would soak it overnight to get rid of the salt, or a minimum of 4 hours. Other people boil it. Because I bought this morning, I actually changed my mind about what I was cooking this morning. So I bought this morning. So to get rid of all the salt, what I've done is I've boiled it twice. Yeah, and that gets rid of all the salt. So now it's good to go. So now it looks like that. And so before we put it in the food, we're just going to break it up. Now this saltfish, this is boneless. You can get it on the bone, and the bone one tastes so much nicer, but you've got to go all the way through it before you can put it in your food and get all the fish off the bone, which if it was cooking at home I'd do. Okay, so that's our saltfish. Throw that in there. Okay, so it's all looking just a little bit dry now, so we'll just throw in a little bit of veggie stock. I'm going to put a squirt of ketchup in there. And ketchup, ketchup is one of those things, as a condiment, I don't like it. But actually, when you're cooking and you've got flavours that aren't quite coming together, ketchup just, it almost like binds them. It's a really good ingredient. I've got some sweet chilli sauce here and no spoon, so I'll grab this big one. This dollop of sweet chilli. Now we're going to add the ackee. We'll just pour those on top, because ackee is quite delicate, so if we start giving it loads of stir, we're just going to break it all up. So we just throw that on top, turn that down, and just give that a few minutes. Okay, so whilst we're waiting for that to come back to the boil, what we'll do is take our cornmeal. So there's our cornmeal, and we throw some stock into our cornmeal. Just mix it all up. A bit more water. Okra and veggie stock. Yeah, my mum wouldn't use veggie stock, she'd just use water, but I prefer the veggie stock. And now we just stir that, and that should take about 5 minutes. So this will form like a stiff dough, and that actually, I was talking to Bex before, and that actually puts me in mind of many African dishes. So a lot of African dishes, you have a thick dough that you pick up with your hands and you dip into the stew. But because Barbados, I think, was more anglicised because it was a colony of England, everything goes on a plate and is eaten with a knife and fork, so it's far more civilised. Okay, so hopefully this should start thickening up soon. I mean, really, it should get to a stage where it's just starting to come away from the sides. Okay, I think that's probably about there. So that was ackee and saltfish served on cuckoo. Okay, so the ingredients for the cuckoo are vegetable stock, although my mum just uses water, not stock, salted water, okra or lady's fingers, and I use fine cornmeal. You can use coarse if you want, some people prefer that texture. For the ackee and saltfish, we bought boneless saltfish, peppers, onions, tomatoes, thyme, garlic, Scotch bonnet, sweet chilli, hot chilli, ketchup, and maple syrup. I think that's everything, isn't it?
And the ackee.
And the ackee, thank you, yes, and the star of the show. Have fun cooking. Once you've made your dishes, take some photographs, send them around, tag Africa Oye online. Thank you, and I'll see you again. And next time, what are we going to cook next time? I think next time what I might do is one of my first dishes I ever learned to cook, which is it's a lamb curry with yam and coconut, and it really is dead simple, dead delicious. Needs a slow cooker or a pressure cooker, or just cook slow. Okay, but we'll talk about that next time. So thank you. Enjoy cooking.
We'll have more culinary delights for you next month on Nyumbani. And in the meantime, be sure to follow Greg across social media at Eat Up Gud. Next, we have an up-and-coming artist on Liverpool's R&B and neo-soul scene. Fresh off an explosive set at the final ever Threshold Festival last month, and off the back of the release of his EP, A Dozen Roses, this is T.
Alright, let's do that one more time. Lauren, with me from the top. Ready? 2 and 3. Ah. Oh. Oh.
But I refuse to give up.
never said we were perfect, I just don't dig where the dirt is. I just don't judge on a verdict, I guess I know all my verses. They said we could never be together, never ever. But look, we question never and now forever isn't even better. Guess we're better. You can't put a cap on off, the hats are off. I lost the gloves, I guess it's only rings and roses cause you fell. Far too full for someone like me, but I'ma catch you without fail. That's word to the wise, cause my words will never fail me. Got the heart of a champion, still a diamond in dirt. And yeah, it might get rough, but little pain never hurt. Yeah, I'm flawed, not even kind of unsure, but I can reassure even without their credentials that we're incredible. And I believe that in the depths of my soul I found a treasure on my chest and it's gold. I wasn't made to give up, my DNA won't let go. I do it 1,000 times over till I get my rose.
You said I know how to love, but I refuse to give up. They said that nothing comes easy. Oh, don't you know that I'm a diamond in the rough.
You in your box, you in your ceilings, your ratings for safekeeping, your locks and chains, your weights or your marks to stop me breathing up. I ain't malleable, nah, I don't model. You could try and make me fit in, but I'm claustrophobic cause I'm comfortable. I can't slave to your game, cause I'm an outcome of playing. I come in peace, love and hair grace, and that's my motto, my lane. Lois Lay here with Superman. There's an S on my chest cause I super can. They can't turn me down, I don't suit the man. I'll protect you till my dying day, right until that day dies. 100 on that truth, I'd never lie to you. Don't question fact, the weight is heavy but my wings are black. Black and beautiful, baby, I'll be banging on about that. And you can see it in the depths of my soul. Found the treasure on my chest and it's gold. I wasn't made to give up, my DNA won't let go. I'll do it 1,000 times over till I get my rose. Yeah.
You said I know how to love, but I refuse to give up. They said that nothing comes easy. Oh, don't you know that I'm a diamond in the rough. You're the thorn in my side, don't apologize. Said our love won't expire, no, it never dies. Cause my eyes won't accept that this love is mine. When you least out to fall, I'll be by your side. You're the thorn in my side, don't apologize. Said our love won't expire, no, it never dies. Cause my heart don't accept that this love is mine.
And if you enjoy that, make sure you're following T on Instagram and SoundCloud at an artist called T. A huge thank you to all our guests on this month's episode of Nyumbani. Don't forget to donate, if you can, to help us keep our content and the Africa Oye Festival free of charge. It takes just 2 minutes over at africaoye.com, or you can pledge via the donate button on this video if you're watching on Facebook. And if you can't donate right now but still want to support what we do, please share this video, tell your friends, and do make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. To play us out, we have an exclusive DJ set from Trenchtown's stage regulars, Dub Defenders. Be sure to check out their Mixcloud and follow them on Twitter at Dub Defenders. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month for another brand new episode of Africa Oye Nyumbani. Peace.
This is Unu Jama from Roots Radicals, representing for Dub Defenders, the original Roots presenters. Put them on the agenda. Dub.
Get them money. You know, sometimes you have to wonder. Trust me. If the things around you, they are real or just illusion.
Warriors up on the battlefield, shoulders to the wheel. Yes, I am. Rough Rasta.
This world ain't easy. I thought the truth and them try squeeze me.
Yep.
The world ain't easy. Take it out and you'll believe me. It's hard being sensible, living in a world of fools. And it's not easy being a fool, living in the world of the wise.
It is a hard knock. Life so rough in a me yard back. Me have to firm like a hard rock. I stand up like a king in the yard pack. But it is a hard knock. Life so rough in a me yard back. Me have to firm like a hard rock. I stand up like a king in the yard pack.
Told you.
Look at what man made. Them take them man and make a hand grenade. If life give me lemon, me go make some lemonade. Me cut up out the system, give me a band.
This world ain't easy. I thought the truth and them try squeeze me. The world ain't easy. Check it out and you'll believe me. It ain't easy. I try the truth and them try squeeze me. This world ain't easy. Check it out and you'll believe me.
There's a boy, what a Gideon. Every ghetto youth want make a million. Some a push cat and minivan. Life so rough in the Caribbean.
It's hard being sensible, living in a world of fools. And it's not easy being a fool, living in the world of the wild.
Wrong book, wrong story, that at the wrong page. Concert from, I'm ready backstage. And you don't know the plan, set the fire off a blaze. Truths and rights always.
This world ain't easy. I thought the truth and them try squeeze me.
Yep.
The world ain't easy. Take it out and you'll believe me. It ain't easy. I try the truth and them try squeeze me. This world ain't easy. Take it out and you'll believe me.
Yeah man, dub man, dub defenders.
Accurate. This is Kabaka Pyramid representing for the dub defenders. Yeah man, keep it accurate. Dub music non-stop. Every bass on them, I want to them. Accurate.
Them system is a strain and a mess. Me feel it like a pain in my chest. The people need a rest. I feel like me can't breathe. In a this a suffocation. The people living in a sufferation. Me can't breathe. Me can't breathe. When the youths can't write and can't read. Many can't spell, but that them a boy under. You can't tell the man different from woman. Yeah, the people them a swell. The food a give we cancer. Look how long we a tell them about the benefits of ganja. Them no like the smell, so we no get no sponsor. Rum and cigarette company, them running rampant. No money no flow. The ghetto get so stagnant. You have to strong like junior gang flag man. Me say me can't breathe. In a this a suffocation. The people living in a sufferation. Me can't breathe. Me feel claustrophobic. Up in a system where no economic growth is. Me say me can't breathe. In a this a suffocation. The people living in a sufferation. Me can't breathe. Me can't breathe. When the youths can't write and can't read. In the depths of this mental pollution, them want we take a dive. Living in destitution, but still we are survive. In spite of persecution, we humble as a child. Because this revolution is of a different kind. We have a different mind, agree some different signs. Living in a different time. I can feel the frequencies changing around me. It's like the anxiety a drown me. Me say me can't breathe. In a this a suffocation. The people living in a sufferation. Me can't breathe, me feel claustrophobic. Up in a system where no economic growth is. Me say me can't breathe. In a this a suffocation. The people living in a sufferation. Me can't breathe, me can't breathe. When the youths can't write and can't read. A long time the Rasta man a want them follow the bloody meat and go take it to the farm them. Now I just disease them a put in a the can and the damn soya bean. Tumor start farm and the youth them at the future yet the police a remand them. Tell Queen Elizabeth give we what we demand. A repatriation chant to the motherland. Yes we gone then. We know our resort we go harm them cause we can't breathe. In a this a suffocation. The people living in a sufferation. Me can't breathe, me feel claustrophobic. Up in a system where no economic growth is.
This one's straight for some white chest. Nothing nice one that could have digest. Rastaman rise and shine. We're preaching Jah love, preaching one love, preaching international love. Original native people of creation. Rastaman rise and shine. We're preaching Jah love. Rastaman rise and shine. We're preaching Jah love.
Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing. Spiritual thing.
music, dub music non-stop, music, every bass, music, every bass, music, every bass, music.
You're about to witness something you've never witnessed before. Okay, party people in the house. You're about to witness something you've never witnessed before. Okay, party people in the house.
defenders.
Dub defenders.
Dub defenders.
Dub defenders. Set up the speaker box, link up the speaker box, turn up the speaker box, tune up the speaker box. Set up the speaker box, link up the speaker box, turn up the speaker box, tune up the speaker box. We love the sound system. We love the sound system. We love the sound system. It lights up with existence. We love the sound system. 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 We come out the resistance. We like it well rougher. We like it well louder. Push that trash out till the dance explode. We love it more than ever. That culture we would never sell out. At every tempo and up to 90 years old. We don't care about car tuning. We love sound systems. Now talk about clubbing. We love sound systems. Question: what is about clubbing with sound systems? While them bluffing we true to the sound system. Happy tell it to the world. Happy make them know. Music where we play, I know damn techno. Come jump up on it and miss it, dance, let it go. Just listen to the kicks, the reverb and echo. Right round the globe, sound system, them go. DJs and selectors, them never bend low. Caribbean style from reggae to mambo. Big up to pioneers, them suckers and encore. We love the sound system. We love the sound system. Set up the speaker box, link up the speaker box, turn up the speaker box, tune up the speaker box, set up the speaker box. Inna the session, me legs them a non-stop skanking inna the session. Natural mystic a chanting inna the session. Selection happy eye standing, you shoulda know. We only play that top ranking inna the session. In front of a sound system wall inna the session. Where we feel like just monumental inna the session. Siren a ring massive, them a ball. We take us inna me like a resistance call. Sound system, we love the sound system. And when we prove them, we not damn victim. Sound system, we love the sound system. And spread unity against them ism schism. We love the sound system. We love the sound system. We love the sound system. It lights up with existence. We love the sound system. We love the sound system. We love the sound system.
Now easy. And it's on the one contest I go get buried. Baby bomb, skank A. Sensitive, what it make you jump till the end. Who's gonna make the dance drum? Oh, let me tell you. Lord have mercy. Fitness, I go mash up the nation. We are the drum dance master. Tell your fire, I go burn. We are the drum dance master. All the people in the dance fun, they get a corner. 'Cause we are the music fighters. We are the music fighters. Fitness, I go mash up the nation. We are the drum dance master. Tell your fire, I go burn. We are the drum dance master. All the people in the dance fun, they get a corner. 'Cause we are the music fighters. We are the music fighters.
Wake up in the early morning drinking coffee. All those sing some music in the studio every day. We not did we take but which we wanna make you irate. And the dance song we are big up all the dancing party. Wake up in the early morning drinking coffee. All those sing some music in the studio every day. We not did we take but which we wanna make you irate. And the dance song we are big up all the dancing party.
Lord of His mercy, sensitivity would make you jump and twist. My glow, the king champion in the ring. And we test our song, we go fly out of the bin. We have to step up on the rhythm section. We have to mash mash up all the politics in around. And all the people, they must can't get this smash up the ground. We never compromise, we are got. Let's go mash up the nation. We are the run dance master. Hell your fire, I go burn. We are the run dance master. All the people in the dance on the ghetto corner. We are the music fighters. Intensity. Won't you give me the real energy? Phenomenal pure party. We are gonna wake up all the rebels to show you reality. Intensity. Won't you give me the pure energy? We got phenomenal real party. When you wake up all the rebels to show you reality. Stephen Nze with my microphone. Gonna take the power back with my saxophone. And all the motherfucker lady of the town. We have to crush them all, cause we are the new surround. Step up on the reading section. To mash up all the politics in the round. And all the people, they must can't get this mash up the ground. We never compromise, we are gonna tear down the town. The one year dedicated to all the wicked, they must spreading trouble.
Make your life a story worth telling. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. Follow your curiosity. Close your eyes and open your mind. Close your eyes and open your mind.
For all the dope defenders, for all the dope, for all the dope.
Yeah. Je m'appelle Tipo Iron, that's me. I tell you, ça va? Yeah. Miss Irie, I feel humble. Anytime you fool round the jungle, me say just like a lion. Well, you know, say Tipo happy stand strong. Hear me now, man, Miss Irie, I feel humble. Anytime we dey round the jungle, come me say just like a lion. Miss Irie, well, me happy stand strong. Hear me now, man, now, because we proud of them, 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 that man,
Because ring ding 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 ding, sing ding 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 ding. If man never then dip on with down, what about something? Sing out, ring ding 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 ding, sing ding 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 ding. If man never then dip on with down, what about something? And then put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up. From around put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up. See them and put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up. See them and put it up, put it up. Chipper happy humble. Anytime when they round the jungle, come and say just like a lion. Well, you know, Tipper happy stand strong. Hear me no man, Mr. Harry happy humble. Anytime we mess round the jungle, come and say just like a lion. Well, you know, say Tipper happy stand strong. 1, 2, 3, 4. I tell you. Simmer, blam blam blammer. This a Tipper highway now the foundation. Sit on top of the rhythm, sit on top of the version. Don't know already me a living legend. Tipper yes me they are cool and secure. Yes I got the Tipper me no like heavy metal. Cool and cool, yes I we roll. Yes I got the Tipper come from the whole school. Yes I saw me stay, just I saw me tan. This I got the Tipper now the living legend. Sit on top of the rhythm, sit on top of the version. Don't know already me a foundation. And I just a some stay, a some it on. Mr. Harry a fi humble. Anytime me dey round the jungle, can me say just like a lion. Well you know Tipper happy stand strong. Hear me now man, Tipper happy humble. Anytime me fool round the jungle, but just like a lion, you know Tipper happy stand strong. From London to France, we in the dance.
Be fully aware now that we established the protocol where we have one entry in and one entry out. Persons have to wear a mask, they have to be unsanitized, and they have to maintain the social distancing. Persons who don't abide by that, we ask them to leave. protocol where we have one entry in and one entry out. Persons have to wear a mask, they have to be unsanitized, and they have to maintain the social distancing. Persons who don't abide by that, we ask them to leave. Persons don't abide by that, we ask them to leave.